first of all, let me say this is always a work in progress for me because I am not the best example. Um, I end up like having really great work-life balance, and then I fall and I fall hard, and I'm back like, oh my God, it's 4 a.m. Why am I still working?
How did I
So
get here? Yeah, you have no idea how you ended up
here,
back into the
no,
old patterns.
damn, I haven't showered in 2 days. Like it's so crazy. Like we're all, I think, as entrepreneurs, guilty of it. So what I started, I actually, let me just say this. I have a corporate job. I run another small company in the
Oh,
day.
I feel bad. I did not actually realize that. Wow, you are bouncing a lot.
Well, I have to, I have to bootstrap this business, and, Sugar Dynamite alone isn't going to pay all my bills. So, there are things you got to do what you got to do until the funding comes in, right? Um, so I hustle hard. But what I do is I love this new feature on iPhone for those of you who have iPhones and not Androids, but it's the do not disturb function. And it tells people like Amira has her phone silenced. And then you can set time limits for when you want it to, stay on or off. So I do zero notifications. And then I only have like my boss and certain people allowed to text me or call me. I also don't return texts until after 5 p.m. and phone
Oh,
calls. Yeah. Um,
personal and business or just personal?
just personal,
Okay.
just personal. And I have a big family, so they're all distracting me like 24/7 over something, and none of it's a 911. Um, and then I figured, I used to be so great at waking up at 4 a.m, having a 5 a.m. workout. I was so regimented. And then, starting my day, working, stopping, eating something, resting a little bit, and then getting started on Sugar Dynamite. Um, and things change, right? So I basically now I'm like, I don't need to get up so early in the morning, and I can work a little later. So now I start my days later, but I always start with intention. So when I wake up, it's like I zombie over to my kitchen and I have my coffee, and then I meditate. That is like, I have this app called Balance, and I think they're doing like a really like you can donate to the app and you get it for free, or if you don't have any money for it, like it's just so cool because they want people to meditate, and they know the benefits of it. So that's what they're doing for their first year. So take advantage of that. But I meditate throughout the day, and that helps me find calm and balance. Um, and then I can work later. So it's like between 5 and 8, it's like I'm returning phone calls. People are calling me, the texts come through, and then it kind of stops. And then by 9 o'clock, the rest of the world is in bed. And it's like, now I can work. So I find like when I work through the night, I'm more creative, I'm more productive. Everybody else is asleep. I can get a lot of stuff done. And then I can sleep my 7 and 8 hours and wake up later. And I will say sleep hygiene is super important, because
Yeah.
if you lack in your sleep hygiene, it's going to show up in your body. It's going to show up all of these other ways. And um, as you get older, like I am, I'm going to be 46 this year. It'll start to show up in different ways. It'll manifest itself. So sleep is super important. Um, Everybody needs to have it. You have to prioritize it, and you'll feel better and you'll be more productive.
Yeah, I know if I don't get enough sleep, it definitely affects my mood, which affects everybody on the team. So just just from that standpoint alone, I know I need to get my sleep in. But I think what you were mentioning too, I think is important because it sounds like you're constantly just when you get time, and sometimes when I say get time, that means you have to make time, but you're creating time for yourself to take a step back and reevaluate because things are changing. So before you were more a morning person, now you've realized, okay, I need to adjust and make it more of a nighttime thing, but still creating boundaries that you're saying, okay, at 9 o'clock, well, at 5 o'clock, I'll start returning some of those personal calls, and like from 5 to 9, there's some crossover between personal life and business life. And then from 9 on, okay, business life is done. Now it's just personal. And so I wake up in the next morning and now I get into my self-care routine, into the business aspect, and then repeat. I think that's a really great way of structuring it. I kind of have a similar way of I stop at 9 p.m., or at least I tell myself I'm going to stop at 9 p.m. Every once in a while, it goes till midnight. But yeah, it's good to have that kind of cutoff where you're ramping down before you try to go to bed. Because just speaking for myself, when I work late, I have more insomnia. And now that's going to hurt my ability to fall asleep because I can't get my mind to stop thinking about working. But if I stop by 9 o'clock, it gives me an hour or two to ramp down before I actually go to bed and gives my brain a little bit of time to separate, work and actual rest there. So, that's another reason why I think it's important to kind of set some of those boundaries. Are there boundaries that you set for yourself in the past where you actually had to say, well, know what? No, that doesn't work. Whether it was maybe hurting your business because you had set a certain boundary, or maybe it just wasn't the right kind of boundary for your personal life.
Um, I think I'm an extremist, so I either go like hard and really, strict one way, or I just, completely fall off. I can't think of any boundaries that I had in the past that were, that didn't work. If they didn't work, it was because I didn't follow through and I didn't stick to the boundary, right? So it's
Yeah.
like, setting this boundary, I'm not taking calls, between this time and this time. And then I, walk off to go do something, and then I break my own boundary. And I think that's the hardest thing, was me fighting with myself going, why am I doing this? And what I realized, it was me wanting to step away from my work or not dealing with the task at hand and just saying I can walk off for a bit. So now it's like, if I walk off because I this is too overwhelming or whatever it is, I need to sit with myself for 5 minutes and just meditate a bit. Not pick up my phone, not go on Instagram, not see who's doing what, not call my mom, like meditate, because I find, or go for a walk, because I find when I clear my head, it's a whole new perspective. When I come back, it's like, oh yeah, bring it on. I could do this. So I highly encourage it. I used to think meditation was boring, and I like hated sitting still for so long because I have terrible, I don't know, ADD, ADHD, whatever you want to call it. But it really helps me eh, get back to centering myself. And it also relieves a lot of anxiety or thoughts of fear that kind of pop in my head sometimes about whatever it may be. Um, and then I can feel more focused and purposeful.